from current levels. So that means if the stock gets into a correction mode and goes down by 5%, it would trigger your trailing stop loss. But if there is a higher probability that the stock can get into an upside trend, you can possibly get even a 750 to 780 on a stock like Gujarat Gas. So it's worth the wait. Would suggest a trailing stop loss of 5% from current levels.
Okay. Shaina, coming to you, Vijay Lakshmi is holding 250 shares of Laurus Labs and that is purchased at 603 rupees. So, can they use this dip to accumulate more? What is your view on that?
Say wait now. I think there is some further downside that is possible. I would look to, if I want to add further from here, I would look closer to maybe 430, 440 levels, and then you could look for an upside to 520. So I think one should wait now. The market is pretty volatile, and I see a downside of about 5 odd percent from here. Long term looks okay, but one should wait to add.
From Rajeshwari, she's written to us from Chennai. She's saying last week she purchased Tata Steel, about 60 shares at a price of 1,178 rupees per share. She wants a short-term advice, so she's asking, can I purchase more at current levels for averaging? What's your take, Kunal? Do you think that this strategy will work well for Rajeshwari? Buy some more of Tata Steel at current price for averaging purpose?
Wait for maybe some more time. Even though Tata Steel is not corrected as sharply as many of the other high beta or the high rate sensitive stocks, in the last few trading sessions, but then is still showing signs of confirmation of reversal for itself. I would suggest to wait for maybe another few more trading sessions or at least a week odd. Let the event of the budget pan out, and assuming if the stock does not get into a further correction mode, then the probability of Tata Steel and many of the other metal names to go into a rally mode increases up higher significantly. So would advise to wait till budget, and assuming if the stock trades at very close to similar levels what it is trading right now, then I would suggest an averaging opportunity for Tata Steel.
Okay, that's on Tata Steel. Shaina, I'm going to come to you. One more on the pharma side. Actually, Abhijit wants to know about Divi's lab. Is it a good time to buy at the current price with a long-term view? He has a long-term view of 5 to 10 years. So what is your suggestion on that?
I suggest he waits not to buy right now. It is like a very fancied stock among investors, but at the same time extremely expensive, and it has been in a corrective mode. I see this correction taking it still further down. I would say if you want to add, it's better to add it closer to 3,500 type of levels. Do not add as of now.
Rima, she's written to us from Palakkad and she's saying that she has about 250 shares of Suprajit Engineering. She wants to know whether she should sell and book profits, given that she's saying that we may likely not see good results from auto ancillary players. What's your take on this one, Shahina? What should Rima do with Suprajit Engineering? Does it make sense to sell right now and book profits?
I would wait. I would hold it as of now for the medium term. Shorter term, of course, as I said, most of the stocks look weak. But if you're holding it for the medium to longer term, I believe you can continue to hold it. Keep a stop loss closer to about 390, and you can hold it for a target of about 350. So you can look in the medium term for a rebound before you exit.
Okay, Kunal, I'm going to come to you. Harsh wants to know on Bandhan Bank, the technical view, since the market is in correction, also, it is looking quite strong and he's bought in it at 300 rupees. So what should he be doing with Bandhan Bank?
I think it's interesting because I think last week onwards, in fact, a few weeks onwards, last few weeks, the stock has been a consistent outperformer. It's been one of the few, very, very few, in fact, handful banking names which has actually managed to outperform the entire sector in this last 1 month. So the stock is up some 28%, if I'm not wrong, this month compared to the banking index, the bank Nifty, up only 4.5% for itself, and given the kind of market volatility we are in. So I think it indicates that the stock should continue to move up higher. You might have those odd periods of volatility in between. So if you can ride out that maybe an upcoming period of volatility for a stock like Bandhan Bank, there could be better prospects on the upside in terms of targets for the stock. So I would suggest a hold, and possibly if there is any kind of volatility near term, ride it all through the way for Bandhan Bank.
From Raj, and this one is actually on Axis Bank. Raj has bought Axis Bank at the levels of 736 rupees per share. So he wants some technical view whether he should hold or sell. What's your take on this one, Kunal? Axis Bank is the stock.
To hold on even to this one, very few handful private sector banking names, as I said earlier, that they're doing quite well for themselves in the last couple of weeks. Even Axis Bank is trading above its 200 DMA, taken support at 50-day moving average just about two trading sessions back. So it's a stock which is building into the recovery. And I believe that when a stock gets into a recovery mode, and when markets, assumingly, whenever the markets get into a rally or a bounce mode, these are the kind of stocks which can show signs of outperformance, and there could be a higher degree of returns which could be generated into these names. So I would suggest a hold on Axis Bank given the kind of outperformance the stock has shown in the last few weeks.
On Axis Bank. Shaina, coming to you, Shashwati wants to know about Power Finance Corp. She's holding 500 shares at 300 rupees per share. What should she be doing with this she has a mid to long term view type. So what is your suggestion for Power Finance Corp?
I think if she wants to book some profits as of now, she can, because I see the stock moving further down. Maybe a good level to exit would be maybe 120, 125 type of levels. But even if she exits at current levels, I think she could add back at much lower levels, closer to about 100 and maybe 100 type of levels. So I think she can exit and, get back into the stock around at 110 levels if she's a shorter term player. If she's a longer term player, maybe she could hold and then exit at about 125 type of levels.
Chandrasekhar, and he's saying that he's bought BHEL at the rate of about 55 rupees per share. He's been holding on to this counter for the last 2 years. He wants to know what should he do, whether he should sell or continue to hold on to this counter. What's your take, Kunal, on this one, BHEL? You think Chandrasekhar should hold on to it?
I think we should hold on, and possibly during budget, we've seen PSU stocks getting into the thick of price and volume activity for themselves. So, during budget, there is always a scope that these PSU stocks, they would probably tend to outperform or show some kind of rally. Even BHEL, for example, today on a day like today, when the markets are down some 350 odd points, 300 points on the Nifty, BHEL is outperforming and showing a positive tick for itself. So that itself, indicates that there could be more outperformance for BHEL over the near term. I would suggest a hold.
Kunal, I'm going to come back to you. We have a lot of short-term queries coming in and technical views also. So, Lalita actually wants to know on Birlasoft. She's holding Birlasoft at 550 rupees per share. Now, what should she be doing with a time horizon of 9 months is what is her time horizon. So, what is your view on Birlasoft?
I had earlier advised as well that this is a stock or the sector in fact can get into a corrective mode. I think Birlasoft from the top has corrected some 20%, 22%, from its highs of 550 levels approximately. I still believe that there could be slight bit more pain ahead for these, mid-cap IT names or the ITES names over the near to medium term. Possibly maybe another 5 to 10% correction from current levels could not be ruled out given the next 1 to 3 months. So I would suggest that if you bought at high levels, try and take advantage of correction. Assuming if these stocks like Birlasoft corrects another 10% from current levels, that would be a phenomenal opportunity to try and buy the stock and average it out. Assuming if you bought at high levels.
Okay, this is a query from one of our viewer who's not mentioned his name, but nevertheless he is asking about Airtel and whether is it good time to invest in Airtel for the short term as it is looking bullish. I will actually go take this question to Shahina. What's your take on Airtel? A lot of news flows. You also have the board meeting for fundraising. There are a lot of speculation on that particular front as well. Do you think in the short term stock very bullish? Even on the longer term, do you think that investing in Airtel is it's a good move?
would think so. I think both for the shorter term as well as for the medium term, Airtel looks good. They are raising further funds. They're pretty cash rich already with the rights issue. So, and with ARPUs also moving up, I think Airtel looks like a good bet both for the short term as well as the medium to longer term. Long term, I think even the stock can go up to 900, 950. So definitely a long term investment at any dips that you get in this volatile market would be a good long term bet.
Kunal, I want to come to you. Krishna Prasad is holding 100 shares of Graphite India, purchased at 700 rupees per share. Now, what is the future prospect for that, and can they accumulate this at the current price? What is your technical view on that?
I would suggest to look at the stock as a buy and dips candidate, even though it's a very high beta stock, and it has a tendency of getting into swings of 20%, 30%. So if you're able to digest this kind of volatility for a stock like graphite, I would suggest an averaging on dips.
Ganesh from Chennai written to us and specifically for Kunal, he is asking about Havells. He wants to know whether he can enter Havells now for the longer term. Do you think it makes sense to look at Havells right now, Kunal?
In fact, Havells was one of the sell calls which I had given in the morning. I was expecting the stock to get into a further correction mode. So it's gone below the 1140, 1130 mark as well and shows signs of consistent weakness. Now, if your time frame is extremely long term, then possibly you can take advantages of corrections like these for stock like Havells. But then my sense is that with the weakening of the chart structure, it's going to be very difficult to time that when the actual bottom could happen for stock like Havells. So buy on dips is what I would recommend in case if you have a much longer term kind of a time frame, but the short term chart structure looks to be more weak for a stock like Havells.
Shaina, we have a specific query for you coming in from Sagar. He wants to know, can you give your view on National Standard and the Lodha merger because it has almost eroded 99% of the investors' wealth. So, what do you think in terms of that, especially any regulatory actions for Lodha and, how should you be looking at it?
Certainty, actually, if it will go through or not. I mean, it's still in the initial stages. So I do not have any view as such as to whether the merger will go through or not. But having said that, I think Lodha as of now, given the current scenario, looks like a decent long-term bet, given that the demand is improving and that the even prices are stabilized for the real estate properties, and they've got a lot of unsold inventory. So one can continue holding as of now, but I do think there are going to be some regulatory issues that the company is going to face in the near term going forward.
We have to kickstart our rapid fire segment. A lot of queries actually are still pending, but nevertheless, let me start with this one. Is from Shrikant from Malaysia, and this one is for you, Kunal. He has 30 shares of Tata Elxsi purchased at the levels of 1600 rupees per share. Shall I exit or add more?
I think I would recommend to definitely book out profits over here. You've made tremendous amount of money. Time to book out profits and then look at buying into the other IT stocks, mid-cap IT names, if these stocks correct by 30% on an average.
Shaina, next one is for you. Rishikesh wants to know, Apple India, long-term view, should he be buying at the current market price?
Well, you should wait for slight dips. It's a fantastic stock to hold for the longer term. So buy it at any dips that you get over the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, this one is from Akhil from Vizag, and he has Bank of Baroda at the levels of 102 rupees per share. He's expecting a target of 140 rupees per share. Should he continue to hold on to it? Shahina, what's your take?
Yeah, he should continue holding on to it. I think Bank of Baroda is showing a pretty good strength, and I do not know whether he will meet his target in the shorter term, but medium term, yes. So hold.
Kunal, Robinhood Outfits wants to know, he's holding 20 shares of Lux Industries at 3,750. What should he be doing with a 6-month view?
I think you should look to hold on to the stock, and if you get a correction like what you saw in the morning today where the stock was at 2,400 odd levels, try and take advantage of that and use them to buy or average on dips.
of MCX at the levels of 1,678. Should he average? What's your take, Shahina?
Stop. Oh, MCX.
MCX.
Oh, yeah, sure. I think at dips he can add because this volatility is always good for exchanges. One can add at dips.
Kunal, Sumit wants to know on persistent systems, is it a good time to enter?
I would suggest to wait. As I said earlier, that possibly IT stocks in the mid-cap IT space, they can correct by closer to 20% from their previous highs as a sector. So broadly, stocks can correct a slight bit more. So I would suggest to wait for some more time before you chip into persistent.
All right, and with that, we come to the end of the rapid fire as well as the query segment. A very interesting show we did have, Kunal and Shahina. Thanks to both of you all. You gave your suggestions on what can our viewers actually look at given the churn in the markets that we are seeing, as well as resolving their viewer query, as well as resolving their queries. But on that note, we slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. But before that, thank you, Kunal, as well as Shahina, for joining us on the show. And viewers, stay tuned. See you on the other side of the break.
सेंचुरी एमडीएफ का प्रीमियम प्लस है ना, हायर डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट, टर्माइट एंड बोरो रेजिस्टेंट भी, यानी ये है जहाँ नो टेंशन वहाँ।